Okay, am I making a video here? I'm a little bit quiet because today I'm at a corporate office. I haven't been at a corporate office in so long. It's all very interesting for me. Uh, you know, I'm in this file. Here's what I'm going to talk about. This is a file that does, to me, something fascinating. If you go to the PJN website, what you can do is you can find a file. Perhaps I'll go to that in a little bit later and show you where to find the file. And these files show you they don't put the name of the plants. So what? You could probably figure out a lot of these plants anyway. They put for each separate day that now it's not current. It's lagged 6 months or something like that. But for each separate day, they put every single plant in the region, whatever, and then they put how much they bid. When you can get the day-ahead bid and all this stuff. They have to do this for some kind of market power analysis. Now, when I do something like this, what I want to see is I want to see a supply curve. And from this different bid, what you can do is you can match the demand and the supply and just get a kind of look at the supply curve, first of all. And when you look at the supply curve, you can kind of see where the demand is. You could put this supply curve in terms of a heat rate as well. Then if you just want to look at kind of the range of the supply curve you're in, this changes this just takes different hours and then simulates the, kind of what you would expect the market price to be from the supply curve versus what the actual is. Why it doesn't exactly match, I'm not sure if I have the day ahead or something like that, but there it got close, okay? And, in terms of doing this, you can build one of these supply curves. So here's what I'm going to do in this video. Is the only thing I'm going to do is, instead of getting really boring and just working through things, I just want to go through a couple of major points about how to do all of this. Now, I have to give you my introduction now because everybody's yelling at me about this. My very good friend says, "Oh, why'd you give everything away? You're stupid anyway, but okay, well, whatever." So, if you really want to learn this kind of stuff, I'd love to put a class together just to go through how to do some merchant plant analysis. And it would be cheap, and we could make it online and everything else. If you're interested, give me an email. All right, now, where are we? I'm going to show you how to take these different bids for different days and make a supply curve. Now, we can only get a supply curve for one day, so as soon as we get to January 2nd, we have to start a new analysis. Oops, there's still 1 January. Look, ooh, and then we go to 2 January. And to do this analysis, the key thing in making this is you need to get every single bid range. You need to have an array that has the number of megawatts in one column and the price in the next column. Don't worry about the zeros. You'll see that doesn't matter at all. Now, the trick to doing this is to just use the match in the index. But when you use the match in the index, we want a range name, and that range name has to come from either January 1st. If we go to January 2nd, then we need a new range name. I have to press a little sort button here. I shouldn't have done that, maybe, but it'll give me a chance to drink a cup of coffee. Okay, I guess it's taking longer than I thought. Okay, so that we just made. You could have done the sort automatically with a small function, but that really slows down Excel kind of worse than almost anything else that I've really found. It slows down Excel. So once we have this, we have to accumulate things and all this. Now the big trick to doing this, you first get the day range, okay, and now you pick, this is just the minimum date and the maximum date, so the difference is 31 days. And then we just made a little drop-down box to get the right day with the developer tab. I'm not going to go through that because I've done that so many other times. Now, the begin row is just a match function, and we match the day that you've selected against all of the days in here. But then to get the first beginning of the range, you put a 0 at the end. And then to get the end of the range, it only works, by the way, if this is in sorted order. In other words, the 1st of January is first and then the 2nd. But then you just do the same match function, but without a 0. And then you can get the total number of rows. Now that total number of rows allows you to do one of the most interesting and useful things in Excel. It allows you to make a range name using offset function. Now if you put equal offset, it asks you for a reference cell. Now our reference cell is going to be just the first cell in the sheet, just this one, okay? And let's say we put one row down and 1, 2, 3, 4 rows across. 1, 4, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that should give us, I think that should give us a value of 300. That's the offset command. But then, with the offset command, you can put a height and a width. That's what makes it powerful. Now the height and the width, if we put just this here, it wouldn't work. But if we put, let's put a width of 3. So let's instead of this, put sum of the offset. And then instead of putting 4, how about 3? What 1 row and 3 wide? And then what that does is it sums this, control up, 1, 2, 3, the sum 277.1. Okay? So the power of the offset command is really those last two optional things, but then you have to use the offset together with something. Now the way it really gets interesting is if we want to have a range. So let's look at the megawatt range. We start in column 1, 2, 3. We go over to column 3. We start in column 3. And then we go over 10 columns. So that's why this starts in column 3 and it's 10 wide. And the start row is 1127. If it's 1st January, then the start row is just row number 1. Okay, because we started with this thing up here and then we go down 1. And then we put the 3rd column in and we do this. Now to make that, then makes it then this range name, megawatt range, that's a flexible range name, and that range name changes. Now if you change that range name, do you understand how wonderful that is? Then you can just do this and pick any of the values of the sheets for the different days. Oh, I am so excited about this. This is really the big use of the offset. So if you put megawatt range, here's when it's finished. We'll just do it again perhaps. Okay, it just gives you the range. Okay, now so how about we'll make megawatt range 1. Okay, so you press Control F3 and you make a new one and you put MW range 1, and then you put the offset function in, and then you go to the bid. Okay, and I have to admit that I have to admit, I suppose, but I will admit that I got the numbers wrong the first time I did it. And then you put 1 for the row, 3 for the column. This is for the height, and this is for the width, and then you close it. Whoops. Okay, well, I didn't do it right. Let's do it one more time. I'm not going to swear because I'm in a fancy old corporation. probably got kicked out. So MW range 1. How's that? Okay. Be careful, MW1 would never work because, you know, that's a cell reference in Excel. So you put offset. Okay. And then you put this in as the first one. And then we go back to the ranges, and then we put 1 in for the start row, 3 for the start column, this for the length, and this for the width, and then we press OK. And then I put it in. And then if you would now want to find something, so let's say we want in this range, we want to find the row, let's say 35, and column, and let's say we'll just take the first column in that range. Okay, then we put equal index, and then MW range 1. Okay, and then you put the row number first, and after you put the row number, you put the column. And then it's 225, so I assume that's the 225 megawatts for that. Now if we put row number 1, we get 1 megawatt, row number 2, 0, 20, 183. Okay, so we can just find those things like that, and it's extremely helpful. And I'm going to stop here and try to upload this file.